Midway upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me, how hard a thing it is to say. What was this forest savage, rough and stern, which in the very thought reneweth the fear? So bitter is it, death is little more, but of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of the other things I saw there. I cannot well repeat how there I entered. So full was I of slumber at the moment in which I had abandoned the true way. But after I had reached the mountain's foot, at that point where the valley terminated, which had the consternation pierced my heart, upward I looked, and I beheld its shoulders, vested already with the planet's rays, which leadeth others right by every road. Then was the fear a little quieted, that in my heart's lake had entered throughout. The night which I had passed so piteously, and even as he who, with distressful breath, forth issued from the sea upon the shore, turns to the water perilous and gazes, so did my soul, that still was fleeing onward, turn itself back to re-behold the pass, which never yet a living person left. After my weary body had rested, the way resumed I on the desert slope, so that the firm foot was ever the lower. And lo, almost where the ascent began, a panther, light and swift exceedingly, which with a spotted skin was covered over. And never moved she from before my face, nay, neither did she impede so much my way, that many times I to return had turned. The time was the beginning of the morning, and up the sun was mounting with the stars, that with him were, what time the love divine, so were to me occasions of good hope. The variegated skin of that wild beast, the hour of time and the delicious season, but not so much that it did not give me fear. A lion's aspect which appeared to me. He seemed as if against me he were coming, with head uplifted and with ravenous hunger, so that it seemed the air was afraid of him. And a she-wolf, that with all hungering seemed to be laden in meagerness, and many folks had cause to live forlorn. She brought upon me so much heaviness, with the affright that from her aspect came, that I the hope relinquished of the height. And as he who is willing acquires, and the time comes that causes him to lose, who weeps in all his thoughts and its despondence, even such made me that beast without in peace, which, coming on against me by degrees, thrust me back thither where the sun is silent. While I was rushing downward to the low land, before mine eyes did one present himself, who seemed from long continued silence hoarse, when I beheld him in the desert vast. Have pity on me, unto him I cried, whiche'er thou art, or shade, or real man. He answered me, not man, man once I was, and both my parents were of Lombardy, and Mantuas, by country both of them. Sub Julio was I born, though it was late, and lived at Rome under the good Augustus, during the time of false and lying gods. A poet was I, and I sang that just. son of Aeneas, who came forth from Troy, after that lion that superb was burned. But thou, why goest thou back to such annoyance? Why climbest thou not to the Mount Delectable, which is the source and cause of every joy? Now art thou that Virgilus, and that fountain which spreads abroad so wide, a river of speech? I made response to him with bashful forehead. Oh, of the other poets' honor and light, avail me the long study and great love that have impelled me to explore thy volume. Thou art my master, and my author thou. Thou art alone the one from whom I took the beautiful style that has done honor to me. Behold the beast for which I have turned back. Do thou protect me from her, famous sage, for she doth make my veins and pulses tremble. Thee it behooves to take another road, responded he, which he beheld me weeping. If from the savage place thou wouldst escape, because the beast, at which thou criest out, suffers not at any one to pass her away. But so do not harass him, that she destroy him. And has a nature so malign and ruthless, and that never doth she glut her greedy will, and after food is hungrier than before. Many the animals with whom she weds, and more they shall be still, until the greyhound comes, who shall make their perish in her pain. He shall not feed on either earth nor pelf, but upon wisdom, and on love and virtue. 'Twixt Feltro and Feltro shall his nation be. Of that low Italy shall be the saviour, on whose account the maid Camelia died. Aurelius, Turnus, Nissus, and their wounds. Through every city shall he hunt her down, until he shall have driven her back to hell. There, from whence envy first did let her loose, therefore I think and judge it thy best. Thou follow me, and I will be thy guide, and lead thee hence through the eternal place, where thou shalt hear the desperate lamentations, shalt see the ancient spirits' desolation, who cry out each one for the second death, and thou shalt see those who contend are within the fire, because they hope to come. Whatever it may be to the blessed people, to whom then, if thou wishest to ascend, a soul shall be for the man, I more worthy. With her at my departure I will leave thee, because that emperor who reigns above, in that I was rebellious to his law, willeth that through me none come into his city. He governs everywhere, and there he reigns. There is his city, and his lofty throne. O happy he, who thereto he elects. And I to him, Poet, I thee entreat, by that same God who thou didst never know, so that I may escape this woe and worse, thou wouldst conduct me there where thou hast said, that I may see the portal of St. Peter, and those thou makest so disconsolate. Then he moved on, and I behind him followed. Canto II. Day was departing, and the embrowned air released the animals that are on the earth from their fatigues, and I, the only one, made myself ready to sustain the war, both of the way and likeness of the woe, which memory that heirs shall not retrace. O Muses, O high genius, now assist me! O memory that didst thou write down what I saw, here thy nobility shall be manifest. And I began. Poet, who guidest me, regard my manhood, if it be sufficient. Ere to thy arduous pass thou dost confide me. Thou sayest that of Silvus the parent, while yet corruptible, unto the world, immortal went, and was there bodily. But if the adversary of all evil was courteous, thinking of the high effect that issue would from him, and who and what, to men of intellect unmet it seems not, for he was of great Rome, and of her empire, and in the imperial heaven as her father chosen, the which and what wishing to speak the truth, was established as the holy place wherein sits the successor of the greatest Peter. Upon this journey, whence thou givest him vaunt, things did he hear, which the occasion were both his victory and the papal mantle. Thither went afterwards the chosen vessel, to bring back comfort thence unto the faith, which of salvation's way is the beginning. But I, why thither come, or who concedes it? I not Aeneas am, I am not Paul, nor I, nor others think me worthy of it. Therefore, if I resign myself to become, I fear the coming may be ill-advised. Thou art wise, and knowest better than I speak. And as he is, who unwills what he willed, and by new thoughts doth his intention change, so that from this design he quite withdraws. Such I became upon that dark hillside, because in thinking I consumed the enterprise, which was so very prompt in the beginning. If I have well thy language understood, replied the shade of the magnanimous, thou soul attained is with cowardice, which many times a man encumbers so, it turns him back from honored enterprise, as false sight doth the beast, when he is shy. That thou mayst free thee from this apprehension, I tell thee why I came, and what I heard, at this first moment when I grieved for thee. Among those was I, who are in suspense, and a fair, saintly lady called to me. In such wise I besought her to command me. Her eyes were shining brighter than the star, and she began to say, gentle and low, with voice angelic in her own language, O spirit courteous of Mantua, of whom the fame still in the world endures, and shall endure long-lasting as the world, a friend of mine, and not the friend of fortune, upon the desert slope is so impeded, upon his way that he has turned through terror, and may, I fear, already be so lost, that I too late have risen from his succor. From that which I have heard him in heaven, bestir thee now, and with thy speech ornate, and with what needful is for his release, assist him so, that I may be consoled. Beatrice am I, who do bid thee go. I come from there, which I would fain return. Love moved me, which compelleth me to speak. When I shall be in the presence of my Lord, Full often will I praise thee unto him. Then paused she, and thereafter I began. O Lady of Virtue, thou alone through whom the human race exceedeth all contained, with the heaven that has the lesser circles. So grateful unto me is thy commandment, to obey, if 'twere already done, were late. No farther needest thou ope me to thy wish. But the cause, tell me, why thou dost not shun the here descending down into this centre. From this vast place thou burnest to return to. Since thou would fain so inwardly discern, briefly I will relate, she answered me, why I'm not afraid to enter here. Of those things only should one be afraid, which have the power of doing others harm. Of the rest, no, because they are not fearful. God in his mercy such created me, that misery of yours attains me not, nor any flame assails me of this burning. A gentle lady is in heaven, who grieves at this impediment to which I send thee, so that stern judgment there above is broken. In her entreaty such besought Lucia, and said, Thy faithful one who now stand in need of thee, and unto thee I recommend him. Lucia, foe of all that cruel is, hastened away and came unto the place where I was sitting with the ancient Rachel. Beatrice, she said, the true praise of God, why succourest thou not him who loved thee so? For thee he issued from that vulgar herd. Dost thou not hear the pity of his plaint? Dost thou not see the death that compats him? Beside that flood where ocean has not vaunt. Never were persons in the world so swift to work their wear and escape their woe, as I, such words as these were uttered, came hither downward from my blessed seat, confiding in thy dignified discourse, which honors thee and those who have listened to it. After she thus had spoken unto me, weeping her shining eyes, she turned away, whereby she made me swifter than my coming. And unto thee I came as she desired. I have delivered thee from the wild beast, which bar the beautiful mountain sought ascent. What is it then? Why didst thou delay? Why is such baseness bedded in thy heart? Daring and hardihood, why hast thou not? Seeing that 3 such ladies bedight are caring for thee in court of heaven, and so much good my speech doth promise thee. Even as the flowers by nocturnal chill bowed down and closed, where the sun whitened them, uplifted themselves all open on their stems, such I became with exhausted strength, and such good courage to my heart there coursed, that I began like an intrepid person. O she compassionate who succored me, and courteous thou, who has obeyed so soon the words of truth which she addressed to thee. Thou hast my heart so with desire disposed to thee adventure with these words of thine, that to my first intent have returned. Now go, for one soul will in us both, thou leader, and thou lord and master thou. Thus said I to him, and when he moved, I entered to the deep and savage way. Canto III.
Through me, the way is to the city Dorrent. Through me, the way is to eternal Dole. Through me, the way among the people lost. Justice incited my sublime Creator, created me divine omnipotence, the highest wisdom and the primal love. Before me there were no created things, only eternal, and I eternal last. Abandon all hope, ye who enter in.
These words in somber color I beheld, written upon the summit of a gate. Whence their sense is, master, hard to me, and he to me, as one experienced. Here all suspicion needs must be abandoned. All cowardice must needs be here extinct. We to the place have come, where I have told thee. Thou shalt behold the people dolorous, who have foregone the good of intellect. And after he had laid his hand on mine, with joyful mind, whence I was comforted, he led me among the secret things. Their sighs, complaints, and ululations loud resounded through the air without a star, whence I at the beginning wept thereat. Languages diverse, horrible dialects, accents of anger, words of agony, and voices high and hoarse with the sound of hands, made up a tumult that goes whirling on, forever in that air, forever black, even as the sand doth when the whirlwind breathes. And I, who had my head with horror bound, said, Master, what is this which now I hear? What folk is this, which seems by pain so vanquished? And he to me, This miserable mode maintained the melancholy souls of those who lived without infamy of praise. Commingled are they with that caitiff choir of angels who have not rebellious been, nor faithful were to God, but were for self. The heavens expelled them, not to be less fair, nor them the nethermore abyss receives, for glory none the damned would have for them. And I, O Master, what so grievous is to those that maketh them lament so sore? He answered, I will tell thee very briefly. These have no longer any hope of death, and this blind life of theirs is so debased, they envious are of every other fate. No fame of them the world permits to be. Misericord and justice both disdain them. Let us not speak of them, but look and pass. And I, who looked again, beheld a banner, which, whirling round, ran on so rapidly, that of all powers it seemed to me indignant. And after it there came so long a train of people, that I never would have believed that ever death so many had undone. When some among them I had recognized, I looked, and I beheld the shade of him who weighed through cowardice the great refusal. Forthwith I comprehended and was certain that this The sect was of the caitiff wretches, hateful to God and to his enemies. These miscreants, who never were alive, were naked and were stung exceedingly by godlifts and by hornets that were there. These did their faces irrigate with blood, which their tears commingled at their feet. And the disgusting worms was gathered up. And when to gazing farther I betook me, people I saw on a great river's bank, when said I, Master, now vouchsafe to me, that I may know who these are, and what law makes them appear so ready to pass, as I discern athwart the dusky light. And he to me, These things shall be known to thee as soon as our footsteps stay upon the dismal shore of Acheron. Then my eyes ashamed and downward cast, fearing my words might irksome be to him, from speech refrained I, till we reached the river. And lo! Towards us coming in a boat, an old man, hoary with hair of eld, crying, Woe unto you, ye souls depraved! Hope never more to look upon the heavens. I come to lead you to the other shore, to the eternal shades in heat and frost. And thou, that wonder standest living soul, withdraw thee from these people who are dead. But when he saw that I did not withdraw, he said, By other ways, by other ports, thou to the shore shalt come. Not here for passage, a lighter vessel need must carry thee. And unto him the guide, Vex thee not, Charon. It is so willed there where is power to do, that which is willed and farther questioned not. Thereat were quieted the fleecy cheeks of him the ferryman of the livid fen, who round about his eyes had wheels of flame. But all those souls who weary were and naked, their colour changed and gnashed their teeth together, as soon as they had heard those cruel words. God they blasphemed, and their progenitors, the human race, the place, the time, the seed of their endangering and of their birth. Thereafter altogether they drew back, bitterly weeping to the accursed shore, which waiteth every man who fears not God. Charon the demon with eyes of gleed, beckoning to them, collects them all together, beats with his oars whoever lags behind, as in the autumn time the leaves fall off, first one and then another, till the branch unto the earth surrenders all its spoils. In similar wise the evil seed of Adam throws themselves from the margin one by one, at signals as a bird is to the lure. So they departed across the dusky wave, and ere upon the other side they land. Again on this side a new troop assembles. My son, the courteous master said to me, all those who perish in the wrath of God here meet together out of every land, and ready are they to pass o'er the river, because the celestial justice spurs them on, so that their fear is turned into desire. This way there never passes a good soul, and hence if Charon doth complain of thee, well mayest thou know now what his speech imports. This being finished, all the dust champagne trembled so violently that of that terror the recollection bathes me still in sweat. The land of tears gave forth a blast of wind, and fulminated a vermilion light, which overmastered me in every sense, and as a man whose sleep hath seized, I fell.